Okay, today we're going to be looking at the Hollyland Mars 300. This is a wireless HDMI transmission system. The good people over at Hollyland sent this for me to check out. And so first off, I'm going to just kind of do a basic non-scientific latency test. As you can see me over here on the screen. I'm going to move and you can kind of see there's a delay in the action, which isn't to be not expected. I mean, this is a affordable system. You know, they have much more expensive systems that latency wouldn't be an issue, but this particular system, if you're doing, you know, actions, shots on a gimbal, or if you really want to see the, you know, the lips move with the audio, you know, this probably isn't going to work very well for you. But for me, you know, I'm going to just kind of show you what it looks like from the delay standpoint. It's also being shot on a GH5, which the HDMI has a little bit of lag to it. You know, but it's not bad. Like for me, the big thing I would use this particular device for is I do a lot of event shooting, and basically a lot of times I have a B and a C camera, and a lot of times I don't necessarily know what I'm getting out of the B and C camera. So with a device like this, I could actually monitor, you know, one of those cameras and see, you know, what the framing looks like, what we're actually capturing. You know, sometimes I do events where I'm the only shooter and I do use multiple cameras, and, you know, people tend to bump into cameras at events for some reason. I don't know why, but, you know, it's a big black thing on a tripod, you know, but they seem to manage to walk into it. And I've had stuff where I've shot stuff and, you know, basically I come back to look at the camera and the camera's basically turned around looking at the wall. You know, so from that standpoint, it'd be a great, you know, device for, you know, monitoring those other cameras. It would be great for staging your frame, especially if you're you know, you're working alone or you don't have a lot of help. You know, I had a situation where I was trying to get an office desk for a CEO to look good in both cameras, and I had to keep going back and checking, you know, the camera. Whereas if I had this device, I could carry around the camera with me and kind of see what I'm doing without having to go back and forth to check and see what's going on. So I would use it to kind of check my frame. Or stage my frame. It could be really useful for that. So I think that, you know, I don't want you to think that this is a device where it's like, oh, I'm going to strap it to a gimbal and I'm going to see, you know, exactly what it's going to get. It's not going to do that for you. But they do make products that do that. I've used some more expensive products that honestly, you know, work about the same as this did. So, you know, from a standpoint of the price point of this being $500, I think it's a pretty good value. You know, obviously, you know, you're going to get into the $1,000 range if you want something where, you know, the latency isn't that bad. So, you know, here's my kind of unscientific test, you know, of somebody talking with their hands. You know, you can see on this screen over here what the delay is coming back. Again, this screen's not really even calibrated for color or anything. It's just a monitor I had laying around that I hooked up to it. You know, one of the things that I would use it for is I have this Feel World 4K monitor that I take a lot with me, and this is probably what I would strap onto the top of one of, you know, my A camera, and then basically, you know, put the transmitters onto, you know, the B camera and be able to see what's actually going on that camera. So, like I said, that could be really useful. Okay, so it uses these Sony Npf batteries. This is a pretty big version of it. I have smaller ones too. I also have adapters where I can adapt like Canon batteries. With this battery, you get approximately 3.5 hours, I would say, of shooting time with it, which isn't bad. You know, the kit comes with a power adapter that you can use. One of the only real negatives is it doesn't come with two 1/4-inch screw fittings. Like it comes with one hot shoe mount adapter and then one of those 1/4-inch screw adapters. It would be nice if it came with two. That's really the only negative I could see for the price of this thing. It works really more remarkably well. I mean, it's definitely a cool system. The range on this thing is pretty good. I tested it, at a couple hundred feet, and with a good line of sight, it worked fine. I used it outside. I don't think they really recommend. I live in Florida, high humidity, very warm. I shot the other day outside. I used it. It worked fine. Didn't have any issues. I don't think it's probably designed for that, but it worked flawlessly. That being said, I mean, for the price, I don't think you could find anything currently on the market like this that works as well. Like I said, I've used more expensive systems that, may have worked a little bit better, but they were a lot more money. And for me, the big thing I would use this for, like I said, is, monitoring those other cameras, especially on event shoots, or, sometimes I do shoot where I have a director and, having him look over your shoulder, or if you're shooting handheld, it would be nice that they could see what you're shooting. So do a little more testing here. So this is, somebody talking with their hands. You can see the delay. Obviously the faster the motion, the more pronounced it's going to be. But, you can see the framing. You can see what's going on in the framing. It's just if you really want it to match, it's not gonna. But it is an affordable wireless transmission system that works very well.